All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. Sound check out 1, 2. Oh, good morning. I was watching that video again of the guy last night at the gym. That's gonna have me rolling all day long. But all right, let's dive in and take a look here at what we got going for these markets. So currently we've got S&P's down 0.02%, Nasdaq up 0.04%, the Russell down 0.15%, and the Dow down 0.03%. So the biggest thing standing out to me so far here today is going to be the Russell. Russell gapping down so far the most, with Nasdaq being slightly positive here, and Russell putting in some pretty decent selling pressure there. It gives me a little bit of caution for concern, but we'll run through the levels, kind of take a look at the overnight sessions here, and see what we can do with this market. We did in fact get the pullback. I was looking for this pullback to honestly come today. I thought we would have Monday, Tuesday of a rally. At this point in the Nasdaq specifically, we traded that $8,000 number, and then so far have sold off. We didn't trade it in the regular trading hour session. So far, I think highs in there like 84.50s for regular trading hour sessions, and just really unable to get back up and tag that level. It would make sense that we can rally up and test that level again here. Options expiration week again, so we're coming into some interesting kind of areas. So all four indices about to be below value area low. So could see a little bit more selling pressure here. We've only traded into one level of support here just yet in the S&Ps, which pretty much comes right down in here towards those 300350s. And we traded 3003 quarters last night. This level is pretty much right there on the nose. There's a small close above this level here as well, but this is pretty much going to be the area. Again, this data we disregard here. But 300350s is kind of going to be where we're looking to go here with the S&P. So let me actually maximize this cell because I was on a different screen. All right, there we go. So levels coming into today here. I do think we can see just a little bit more pullback here before any type of rally. We did break the hourly trend yesterday here in 3014. We traded down to that level to the tick. You can see we rallied nicely off that. Came back down, tested it again, 301350. And then pushed back up just a little bit here before ultimately, getting the last little sell-off there, and unable to retest this on any rally back here towards the end of the day. So 3014 ended up being that, if we break this level, then we've got some room to go to the downside. And we ended up dropping about 10 points roughly, pretty much straight through that level. 3004.50 ends up being the lows down here, and then we ended up retesting that right at the like 2:30 time frame or so, right in through here. Now, what I'm watching for today, again, we've got this kind of 300350 level down in here. There is a close above this level, but again, it is kind of the pivot point where we had broke out before. So it would make sense that we kind of are able to retest it. We traded 3003 quarters in the overnight sessions, and at this point now we've got new support that we can kind of draw in here from yesterday's trading action, which is basically going to come in kind of at this 3006 quarter, all the way even up into kind of 3007s here. So we can realistically kind of have like a 3-tick range there that this market, realistically should get above or below, really in order to go, higher or lower here. If we do get below that zone, then next targets to the downside, it would end up being 2994 quarters here. That would make the most sense to me for the S&Ps. If for whatever reason the market does want to go higher, again, we've got to get rid of this 3014 level here. We would need a break above 3011.75. If we get a substantial break through that, then I think we can kind of end this, what could be the start of a new downtrend or maybe even consolidation here. You know, we broke the uptrend yesterday, and at this point now we either one, go sideways, or two, start in a new downtrend. Again, if that downtrend continues, 29.94 quarters. If that downtrend does not want to take hold, then we need above 30.1175s, and we traded 30.13s in the overnight session. So we pushed through that level by a point and a tick there, and then selling off back down into this range. As long as we're inside of this range, really, basically this 5.5 point range or so, 3006 quarters up to 30.11s, I'm not going to look to do too much. I think if we're at the lower end of that range and we get some type of long opportunity, I think you can, not aggressively, I think you very conservatively can take a long back up into that level. But most likely it's probably one of those kind of do not trade zones that it's best not to have anything on in there. If we do crack 3006 quarters, then I'm all for a short here with targets down into 29.94 quarters. Again, good risk reward ratio there as long as we can get the proper entry into that position. We got a 10-point range going so far in the overnight session, 0.3 quarters up to 13s. So we should have some pretty decent, or at least a decent range for the day. Moving over to the Nasdaq. Nasdaq, same thing. We broke through that 67.50 level from yesterday. You can see we rallied back, tried to test it there, traded 66 quarters, and at this point just pretty much worked our way lower and have now established a pivot in place here at 79.38.50s, and then a break above level here going up to 79.59 quarters, and overnight lows so far 79.29.50s, overnight highs 79.66 quarters. So we did push through this level on the top side by a little bit. We did push through this level on the bottom side by about 10 points there. But right now kind of settled back, not necessarily right in the middle of that range, but fairly close to the middle of that range. I've checked quotes here this morning about 4 or 5 times before I got to the desk, and every time we were basically between 50 and 54 when I was checking quotes since about 6 o'clock this morning. So at this point, as long as we stay inside this zone here, I'm not going to look to do too much here with the Nasdaq. If we can crack below 38.50s, I think we can start looking at shorts. If we can crack above 59 quarters, I think we can start looking at good longs there. This one, again, same thing. If we're coming off 79.38.50s and there's some type of long entry in there, then I think it's permitted to take that up into 79.59 quarters again. But realistically, as long as we're kind of chopping around inside of here, then I don't see any reason to step into a position there. And I do think one other thing here with the Nasdaq that I think is going to be a little bit of a catalyst for potentially some sideways action in there inside that zone is this morning, and you can see this across a couple of different names as well. But just looking at for example, Amazon here, obviously a large component of the Nasdaq. This thing basically started a range bound last Thursday. We basically set this big red bar here, and we've stayed contained inside that red bar, within 10 or 15 points of this 2010 level here for, basically 4 days now. And we're currently gapping down to 2001.21 is the bid at the moment. So we're gapping right down to this $2,000 number, which again is going to be actually perfect for me. I don't mind that at all. But if Amazon's going to take some time, consolidate here before it makes up its mind on the next leg, then we want to make sure that we're aware of that when it comes to the Nasdaq, and we're not getting shaken into positions that essentially don't go anywhere, and you end up just holding it for no reason. Moving over to the Russell here. Russell is 100% absolutely still range bound. Excuse me. That's how I feel about the Russell chart apparently. Pretty much 1577s, 1578, somewhere in there, down to 1556s. So it's like a 20-point range in the Russell here. We're currently 1564.10s. So we're kind of we're in the lower third of that range, I guess, at the moment. And Russell is gapping down, 0.09% here this morning. We had those 62 levels in place yesterday for the Russell, and those did in fact trade twice. We came down, we traded it here. We came down, we traded it one more time right here and traded 6160s or 6170. Sorry. And at this point, we can still use this level in place for the Russell. There was no confirmation closes above or below, and it just continues to kind of contract a little bit narrower of a range with highs up here, 1571.30s that would need a break in order for us to go higher. 1562s basically need a break to the downside for us to go lower. So there's a 10-point range in there, and just not really something I want to mess with. I have that, kind of swing trade on for the week up to 1580s. I don't see that actually kind of coming through at this point, unless we, really get above 1571.30s. But it's just unable to really hold rallies. I mean, we get really, really solid rallies out of this zone, and they're just not able to hold. We get gaps up out of the zone, it's not able to hold. We rally up to the top end of the zone, look good. Other markets are weak, getting a little bit of a pullback. Russell holds strong, and then again, unable to really hold outside of this zone. So as boring as it is, this is going on 3 weeks of a range here for the Russell. And unfortunately, we just really have to wait for that to break one direction or another in order to really look at anything to do in there. Last but not least, taking a look here at the Dow Jones. At the moment, Dow is gapping down 8 points, 27,321s. We traded down into this support level yesterday, 27,295s. I think the level is 27,296. Depends on where you actually draw it to. Right here, again, a point difference in the Dow is not going to be that large. But we traded right down into that level yesterday. We traded lows of 27,280s. So we pushed through that level by 15, 16 points or so there, and then rallied right back up into the open and pretty much hung out right in around there of 27,350s. We've got overnight lows 27,302s, overnight highs 27,377. So we kind of pushed up, back up in towards right up in here. That high is going to be 27,371, the level above. If we can trade back down into 27,295s, then I am okay with looking at a long opportunity here in the Dow. Reason being is Dow did not break the downtrend just yet, and there is another level that comes in here at 27,305s. So that level actually ended up holding up there. Again, in the overnight, we traded 302s, 377s. Excuse me. So we stayed pretty much well contained inside this zone for the Dow. And again, favorite play on the day at the moment is going to be the Dow. The Dow did not break the trend. It sold off yesterday off of highs, but was able to regain most of that and not actually break the hourly uptrend at the moment. So we've got Russell range bound, S&Ps and NASDAQ breaking the uptrend, potentially going into a new downtrend or consolidation. We don't know just yet. There's not a second confirmation on the charts just yet. And we've got the Dow actually holding up and holding at support levels in the hourly uptrend. So really, really conflicted markets here. Not something that we've seen in recent months at all. We've had some pretty decent looking, charts over the past few months. And right now we're kind of in that, sloppy, choppy zone for these charts. And knowing when not to trade these and which markets to trade is super, super important here. So trying to exercise caution when it comes to all that, and just staying patient and disciplined when it comes to which one of these I actually want to put my money into and which one I think has the best risk reward based on what the charts are showing me. And if that means I have to sit out for a little bit, then that just means I have to sit out for a little bit. And that's basically what we've done so far. Monday had a decent little trade, gave back some profits. Tuesday, no trades. Yesterday, no trades. Well, added on a swing trade there, but no day trades. So giving myself a little bit extra duration on some of these trades to kind of let them work themselves out. So that's what I've got for this morning. We had a big move down in crude yesterday. It's got a 90-cent range so far on the day. 57.46 up to 58.36 is there. And this thing pretty much sold off, filled this gap from down in here around 57.80s and worked itself, a pretty decent little area down in here almost got the 57s there, which would have been that last support level there before we broke out, and then 56.29s here. Gapping up this morning, pretty much right on highs at the moment. 58.30s highs or 58.36s. I don't really know what to do with this. I think it does get a little bit of a, kind of dead cat bounce in here. Does it go back into an uptrend? Does the daily chart end up, kind of consolidating in this little pinch that we've got going right now between the 20 and the 200 SMA on the daily chart? Are we, right in and around that $60 number and can't figure out, what the price of oil is going to be off that $60 number? I'm not entirely sure. And typically crude is not something that I like to trade when the other markets are not in alignment for me either. Crude's a larger contract, one of those ones that I don't like to add on unless I, either have a really good looking chart in there or some decent profits already in some other markets to kind of step into. Like I said, it is a bigger contract. That move yesterday, $2.98 to the downside total range on the day. That is a $2,980 per contract move in crude. So it's just a really, really big contract there. And most likely something I'm going to stay away from today. Again, as well, we're gapping right to the middle of that range, or up into that middle of the range, and no levels in there for me to really draw from. So gonna leave that one alone. We do have crude oil inventory coming out at 10:30 today, though. 2 o'clock is going to be beige book, and then that's pretty much it that's on the books for the day in the Forex Factory calendar newsland over there. So crude oil at 10:30. If you're watching that, pay attention to it. Otherwise, that's what I've got for you guys so far this morning. Unfortunately, a little bit of a slow week so far. We'll see if that starts to turn around here, if we can actually pick a good solid direction for this market and look to have some tradable action in there. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out. If you are new around here, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up on this video. Leave me a comment. Do all that fun stuff. It is all absolutely free, and love the engagement from all of you guys. If you want to work with me and the rest of the MLT team a little bit closer, then there's going to be a link in the description below on joining the Major League Trading Discord channel. If you want to try your hand at chess, if you want to learn how to trade, if you want me to sing to you, any and all those fun things, I'm willing and able to do all of those each and every day in the MLC Discord. So click that link. That is also free as well. And I will see you guys in there. Take care. Trade safe today. And I'll see you back tomorrow.